All right, we return to the Songwriters Circle then with our second act here at Palmerston North City Library. He is not from around here originally, but has made Palmerston North and Manawatū his home. He is the creative force behind Truly Made, one of Manawatū's most well-known bands at the moment. He is a teacher. He is a very consummate musician. He owned a music store once upon a time as well. But to tell you more about his songwriting process,
don't do it.
His inspirations, and to go through that mechanic that I failed to explain before of playing one of his oldest compositions, one of his most recent, and a cover of something inspiring, please welcome Jon Bowen.
Well, thank you for having me. I am indeed Jon Bowen. I'll play you a tune first. This is one of my oldest complete songs. I look out on a summer's day. The birds are singing and the children play. They say, oh, how great is your love. How great is your love to me. They say, oh, how great is your love. How great is your love to me. I catch the sun and feel the summer breeze. Love is the feeling when I'm feeling free. And I say, oh, how great is your love. How great is your love to me. I say, oh, how great is your love. How great is your love to me. Let your faithfulness fall like a tree's autumn leaves. Let your strong hands of love help me gently believe. And I say, oh, how great is your love. How great is your love to me. I say, oh, how great is your love. How great is your love to me. Thank you. So that was called, come on, you know, don't you? Sure. Where is your love? Yes, it was. Give that man a cigar. So typically written in the classic style of a pop song, for good reason, because it's chords that I knew at the time. So music theorists out there, chord 1, 4, 5, and 2 maybe, who knows. And lots of songs like that. It's that sequence. It's not about your money, money, money. I don't want your money, 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 etc. And it's a love song. I wrote it for a project I was doing at the time. It's called Still Small Voice. 3 mini albums. And I guess for me, songwriting, but it's sort of, and I would say for Ty as well, at times, it's a, you know, part of your job. It was part of my job at the time, you know, the way that I earned money. I was gigging, doing a bit of writing, was doing a bit of networking. Opportunity came up. They said, oh, you'd be interested in joining this writing team for this project, Still Small Voice. I said, yeah, I'm interested in anything that buys curry. So that was that was good. And then became sort of a pretty big thing, really. About 20 songs over a period of 2 years, some gigs around Europe. And so I guess the reason for writing was actually it was part of that network. You know, so it's actually you make the connections, you get involved, you find out what the style is, the genre, what are they looking for? They're looking for sort of love songs with a spirituality flavor. So we got stuck into it and wrote things that didn't work, that the publishing company didn't like, plenty of those. And, you know, we kept those, put them into other projects. I still play some of those now. Some of them became Truly Made songs years later. So that's where that came from, really. It's one of the reasons for songwriting. It's a job, you know. It's part of how you make a crest for your whānau. You know, which is a great reason. You know, and for me, even when I'm in that creative space, I think it's probably 5%, often 5% inspiration and 95% perspiration. You know, that really getting a good sound, getting something that's crafted right. It's like painting a picture to me. You know, and I'm a rubbish painter. So, but it's like that for me. It feels like that process. It's like I know what I want it to be, but actually to make that final thing, to get that visual image that I'm really proud of. So for me to get that audio image that I'm really proud of, actually it's craft. It's time and time again. It's heaps of failure, and it's and that one, you know, that was like that. You know, lyrically it sounds really simple, but it's, you know, it's perspiration. You know, it's actually sitting there with the Penguin rhyming dictionary and going, actually, that's not the right word. It's not the right word. I've got to find another one. You know, it's to get the thesaurus out. What's a word like that works and actually, you know, actually working. But so that's where that sort of came from. So that was How Great Is Your Love. This one is actually for these more modern ones. I might play you a couple of extracts because I think it's a completely different process for me with this modern stuff with Truly Made, because it's actually, I started the band as a writing project because I got out of the habit of writing. I don't work, you know, I play music for fun these days rather for a job. It's just part of who I am. I can't do life without music, so I do life with music. And you know, I'm deliberate about that. I'm purposeful about that. You know, that's part of being in my family that we do music. You know, so it's so Truly Made was started as a 3-piece writing project. Now it's sort of a 7, 8, or 9-piece fun band of people who enjoy playing music together these days, which we hardly ever do. But 26th of July is booked, so that's a gig in town. So if you're around, we'll get some posters out for that in the next few weeks. If there's only 10 people there, it'll still be good because it's at the Celtic Inn and it feels full with 10 people in. So, but if there's 100, it'll be great. So so these songs tend to come pretty quick lyrically for me. They're about people, really, you know, about relationships, about love. Some of them are about the challenges that we face, or that I perceive that other people are facing. I don't know, you know, probably remember the guy who used to juggle around town, Mike. He died, you know, not too many years ago, really. Might even have been, no, it was the year before last, I think, a couple of years ago. And I just walked past him one day, and he was there. He was sort of engaged but disengaged, you know, from his juggling. And there's a few people walking past, and a couple of people walked past and laughed at him. And I used to stop and have a bit of a chat with him sometimes and introduce the kids to him. And so I wrote this, and I was initially thinking, man, he's out there on the edge somewhere, you know. And I started writing a bit of a song about that. And I just went, edge is the wrong word, you know. So it's so I wrote this song. It's called Boundary, which is the word I used to describe where I felt like he was coming from. Lots of people think it's about cricket. It's got nothing to do with cricket. So this is Boundary, and it's dedicated to Mike. We come from the boundary on a long way road. I'm not going back there, not growing old on the boundary. It's a sliding slope. I'm not going back there, never go back there. We come from the boundary. We come from the boundary. This man I meet is walking down the street with a smile so sweet through his fallen out teeth. He's a cynical guy, but he's so sincere, trying to connect through this wall of sneer. There's this child that I've seen, it's a terrible scene. She's walking barefoot through broken glass and beer. Tries to stand tall but shies away with fear. And it's just on our road, just on our street, just down our street. We come from the boundary on the one-way road. I'm not going back there, not growing old on the boundary. It's a sliding slope. I'm not going back there, never go back there. We come from the boundary. I'm looking in the mirror, which someone told me to do. It's not a great picture of me or you. Try to take the next step, try to make a move. I could do with some hands to help put on my shoes, put on my shoes. We come from the boundary. So yeah, the story songs like that one, I think probably followed the advice of some great popular music songwriters like McCartney and Lennon. Although some of his are a little bit more complex, but it tends to be that their songs telling stories are super simple in terms of their structure. So that one's only got 2 chords. It's pretty much the same all the way around. It's the same timing for the chords, apart from one section where it extends one of the chords by an additional bar. So it's really deliberate, because for me, lyrically, that's the most important thing of that song, is to focus on the lyrics. So get a bit of musical interest there. I get a bit of inspiration by using effects, like you hear the delays going on in there, and just that repetitive, giving it sort of adding rhythm to what's essentially a really simple structure. And other songs, so that song came really quick. The idea of it, I probably finished most of the song lyrically, and musically obviously there's not much to it, but lyrically it's probably done in an hour. This one, which I play a really short example of, came in literally 10 minutes, and sometimes you're just inspired by like an input. For me, that might be a book that I've read. It might be, something that I've watched, something that I've seen, like that last one with Mike. This one was a YouTube video I was watching. Just, I was sort of home, kids were running about, and I was just watching some music stuff. Not particularly looking to be inspired, but I watched a clip of some of the original James Brown riffs and where they came from, and some of the guys that created those things that allowed James Brown to write around them, and what inspired him. And so I can't remember the guy's name. I've got it written down somewhere, but it was one of James Brown's original guitarists, and he's sort of in his 80s now. And the interviewer went, "So what made you get up in the morning? What made you really want to engage?" Because these guys got paid no money for being on the road for 250 days a year playing soul music to audiences that didn't want to engage with them because of the race stuff going on in the States at the time. It's like, what made you do that? What kept you going? And he just went, "Man, I'm just a sucker for groove." I wrote this song called "Sucker for Groove," and it came like in an instant, which was all about this guy, James Brown, guitarist. They're the chords, I think. I'm gonna tell you stories about the things that make me smile. I'm gonna keep you talking for a little while. I love the way that music makes you sway like you're at sea. I wanna see you dancing right next to me. And when you do, I hear this tune. When you do, I hear this tune. I'm just a sucker for groove. Yeah, yeah. I'm just a sucker for groove. Yeah, yeah. I'm just a sucker for groove. Compliment me, I will show you on my face. If you don't, that would be to your disgrace. 'Cause music keeps me living, so please don't make me die. I want to see you dancing by my side. When you do, I hear this tune. When you do, I hear this tune. I'm just a sucker for groove. And I think music comes in and it goes out in all sorts of different ways. And if you're somebody that aspires to or already write, put good stuff in, because then good stuff comes out. And I think I even say that to people that I've worked with. I've been, was a music teacher. I don't teach anymore, but or I do, but not in a formal school setting. I used to say to young people I was working with, look, even if you're in a dark space, actually put as much good stuff in, because actually that'll inspire you to get the stuff out. And if it's dark stuff that's coming out, get it out. Let's get it out there. Let's put it out in the open. Because when you put your stuff out there, I've written some pretty dark pieces of music at times, and some pretty dark lyrics about stuff I've been through, the stuff that we go through as human beings, death and disappointment in other human beings, or other human beings being disappointed in us. That's usually my family disappointed in me. That stuff comes out, but actually if you get it out creatively, actually it's in the light. So I always encourage that. So if that's you, or if you're listening or watching, it's get this stuff out there, because actually community and music creates community, I believe. So if you get this stuff out there, there's a chance for that community that's created to input you, and maybe, just maybe, good stuff will come of that for you. So the last thing that I think the people that are able to write like this, so this is my cover. This is by a guy called Mike Scott. He was the lead singer in a band called the Waterboys. superb songwriter, and just the ability to use a word and keep referring back to this word. This is a song of his that actually, in that project, I got to meet Mike Scott because I wanted to use this song, and he wasn't sure whether he wanted to let us use it. So we got to meet him, talk with him about the song, what the purpose of our use of his song was, and but it's a superbly simple idea, superbly executed, and I love that. I love when I experience something, and there's lots of people that have got this ability. There's a guy called Shawn Mullins, is a songwriter in the States, had a hit with a song called Lullaby, sort of 15 years ago. It was a bit of a global hit. But if you listen to his acoustic stuff that he still tours around coffee shops in the States, he's a bit of a coffee house musician. He's got this superb ability to make the simple beautiful. And that's what this song is to me. It's called Open.
Open to the world, open to spirit, open to the changing wind, open to touch, open to nature, open to the world within, open to risk, open to adventure, to peace and silence too, open to love, open to miracles, open, beloved, to you. Let me be wide open. Let me be wide open. Let me be wide open to you.
There we go, Jon Bowen, the second act for the Songwriters Circle. I'll take two questions for Jon, if anyone wants to. Ty, away you go, sir.
Yeah, great to see you, bro. Love it. What advice would you give to an aspiring muso just starting and trying to navigate through the local music scene?
Yeah, I think network as wide as you can. I think you can you can pigeonhole and sort of be you sort of very easily become a bar musician, and it's a tricky place to get out of. That if you just focus on doing that covers because you can earn a few $100 at a weekend, then you can pigeonhole yourself. There's a danger of that. So network widely, play widely, busk, serve your local community. Get out there and play free gigs if you can. Etc. It's because actually talking about music creates community. I believe passionately about that. But there's some communities out there that can't afford to pay. So what do you do with them? And I know you guys that you're amazing at that. But that's for young musicians. Actually, don't expect that you're going to get. Actually, expect that you're going to give. It's because actually that'll generate. That generates a spirit in the community of generosity, I think so.
One more question? Yeah, go, sir.
Yeah, just got one. If I was to ask you, you could sit down with either one or a few writers and musicians, who or a couple come to mind? Or who might have inspired you in some way?
Oh, you know what? If I could, don't want to get emotional, but probably my grandmother.
Nice one, bro.
You know, she was the gatherer of the family. You know, Christmas round the piano, and you know, they weren't usually her songs, but you'd see these lyrics written down on pads, and that's the other advice to musicians. Actually, keep a diary. Right, I don't mean like an everyday thing, but have those books just that are there. You know, I've got heaps of them, a shelf full of them from years and years of just some of them what I thought was stupid thoughts. Actually, some of them become great songs that other people liked and wanted to record. You know, so that's a really important thing to do. There's no thought that should be a throwaway bin thought in terms of songwriting. But yeah, probably Grandma Alice. She was pretty cool.
Thank you very much, John. Another round of applause for Jon Bowen.